Hello, everyone. Welcome in. It is Stacking the Box, NFL Week 10. Week 10. My God. I feel like Week 10 actually does start today because the Falcons and Panthers put on a show that, frankly, no one needed to watch. With all due respect to my co-host and resident Falcons fan, Iain MacMillan. So, this, of course, is Stacking the Box, along with Bet-Sided. Iain MacMillan and I here every single week to break down the games that are about to shake out. Of course, there's one going on in Munich right now where the Buccaneers look as though they are going to beat the Seahawks. And thankfully, we didn't have to pick that game because I would have taken the Seahawks a million times out of a million in this spot. They have not played well. The Buccaneers are getting the job done. So, sir, how are you?
Not bad. Not bad. I did bet on this game, and I took the Seahawks, and I took my Falcons on Thursday night. So I'm 0-2 heading into the show, so I guess there's nowhere to go but up from here on out.
All right, let's do it. Let's just talk about this because I did not have a good week last week. So have you tabulated the weeks?
I was just finishing up. I do have mine here. I went 5-5-2 for minus 0.45 units, and I think you went 4-8.
I've worst week I've had all year. Yes, 4-8.
Yeah, it's tough.
It was tough. These things happen. Things happen. But yes, I had a tough week. Hopefully going to bounce back here. Let's start it out by speaking about two teams that do not need to bounce back. As they both won last week, albeit the Chiefs doing it in a way that I think they'd like to avoid going forward, a little bit of a heart stopper. They get another AFC South team coming to Arrowhead Stadium. It is the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars had a 5-game losing streak. They break back. They win against the Raiders on Sunday in Jacksonville. Came back from down 17-0. The spread opened at, I think, 10. It climbed down as of this morning to 8.5. Total is 50.5. What say you about Jags Chiefs in the Heartland today?
Well, really quick, I need to hear from you. What happened to the Chiefs last Sunday night? Because you know me, I hate the Titans. Now I have to become fans of them. I was on the Chiefs every which way, and they almost blew it and lost the game.
Yeah, and they probably should have. You know what? I think that was a combination of a few things. Early in the game, they took a million penalties, which really allowed that game to get sideways on them. They took, and not just penalties, but like major penalties that altered every drive that they were involved in. That was one. I thought Tennessee, you had to know if you were the Chiefs going into this game. Like Tennessee was going to be physical. That's what Tennessee is. That's the way they want to play. The Chiefs looked utterly unprepared for that first half of the game. I also was absolutely on the floor as the Chiefs were playing a too high shell coverage against Malik Willis for half the game. That was interesting. All those things combined, I think, led to what was a very frustrating game if you were a Chiefs fan, even though they won. But yeah, look, I was with you. We both picked the Chiefs to cover a big number. I thought the Chiefs, and when they got up 9-0, I'm like, all right, here it comes. Yes. And then nothing. They just couldn't play football for 2.5 quarters. So, not a great day to bet on the Chiefs.
Yeah, so in spite of that, I'm now going to take the Jaguars here. I got them at plus 10. I think it's down to 9.5 now, I think.
Down to 8.5.
It's down all the way down to 8.5. So there you go. I got them at plus 10 at the opening number here. And I've talked about this on the show before. In order for me to lay double-digit spread, or in this case, still, over touchdown spread, I need the stats to heavily favor one side in a lot of areas, and that's not the case. Even though the Jaguars record isn't good this season, still at like 11th in net yards per play. They're pretty good offensively. Their defense has some strengths to it. They're not a bottom 5 team, despite what the record says. So I have no interest in laying these points with the Chiefs, especially because the Chiefs have not been good in covering big spreads. I don't have the exact number in front of me, but it's something like 7-19. Against the spread when the spread is bigger than 3 points in favor of the Chiefs dating back to like November of 2020. So I'll take the points with the Jaguars here and hope they can keep it close.
So will I. I'll take the points. I got a 9.5. So I'll take Jacksonville to cover that. I do think the Chiefs are going to win the game, and it'll be about like a touchdown. 31-23, 31-24.
Yeah.
Now at 8.5, I don't know that I'd touch it. Maybe I'd leave it alone at 8.5. Excuse me. I think Jacksonville, you're right, is better than people realize, at least offensively. Now, the one thing about this game that would concern me from a Jags better standpoint is I do not know that Jacksonville can stop the Chiefs from throwing the ball in this game. That is the one thing.
Yes.
They don't have a good pass rush. And they love to play zone. And if they play zone against Kansas City, Mahomes is going to throw for 400 yards. So that's – and I don't think they have the horses to play man. So that is the concern, which is why I think the Chiefs are going to score over 30 points. Even if Jacksonville backdoor covers the game, I just think they get there. Even if it's like 31-16 or something or 19 and then they score a touchdown real late. The Chiefs have not covered at home all year long. And they have not had an easy game at home all year. Not one. They barely beat the Chargers. They pulled away late. And then the Chargers backdoor covered. They lost to Buffalo in a game they blew late. They had last week's game where it was a disaster all the way through. They had the Raiders game. They're up 17 or down 17-0 before they decided to come back and play football. So I think the Chiefs will win. I do not think it'll be a walk in the park. I think they win. I think they probably pull away some point in the fourth quarter, but I don't think it's going to be a game where you go, oh, that game's over at halftime. But The Chiefs have been weird all year. Who the hell knows? All right. Let's keep rolling through the 1:00 games. We have the Giants and the Texans. The Giants coming off the bye. They're 6-2. They are in the Meadowlands this weekend. The Texans, 1 win all year long. Worst record in the NFL. The Giants, however, only favored by 5.5 points. Total is 41.5. And by the way, should note, it is a lot of cold weather across the league today. In Kansas City, it's 28 degrees. In New York, it is 51 with some wind. I will start us off here. I am taking the Giants minus 5.5. And by the way, Reggie's asking, is L'Jarius Sneed playing? Yes, Reggie, he is. I debated what to do with this line because the Texans have had a history of playing in close games this year, even though they're not winning. The Giants have had a history of playing in very close games, even though they are winning. I think this is a spot where the trend breaks with the Giants. The Giants are off a bye. Houston's coming out there. The Texans are a mess. I mean, they might be a team that wins 2 or 3 games all year long. I think if there's ever a week the Giants blow somebody out, it's this week. Just off the bye, at home, worst team in the league. I think the Giants win it by like 10 points. I don't think it's going to be 42-3 or anything. I think it's closer than that, but I think it's 27-17. So I will take the Giants to handle business at home, get to 7-2, and cover against the bad Houston team.
We're opposite sides of this one. I got the opening line 6.5, but I'm going to take the Texans here. I have no interest laying this many points on the Giants team, who I've been screaming have been fraudulent all year because the record's good, but statistically they aren't. And I have to kind of stay true to the numbers here. 29th in net yards per play at minus 0.7. So, sure, they're a little bit better than the Texans, but the Texans are 30th in net yards per play. The Giants are 29th. So, I mean, there's not much of a difference there. And to lay this many points, I just can't do it. And also, if the Texans are able to kind of lean on the running game, which we saw on Thursday Night Football last week against the Eagles, if they do that again and just run the ball, I think they can at least keep this game close because that is the weakness of this Giants defense is they can't stop the run. 31st in opponent yards per carry. Only the Chargers are worse at stopping the run than the Giants. So I think if the Texans just lean on Dameon Pierce, run the football, they can at least keep this game close. So I'm not going to take them to win outright. I do think the Giants should be favored, but I think it's too many points. So I'll take the points with the Texans. As the Seahawks make this a little bit interesting, they just scored another touchdown to make it a one-score game.
I didn't see it. I'm actually going to turn it on right now. Apparently, Geno threw a great pass to get in the end zone here. I think everybody keeps waiting for him to return to his previous form. I don't think it's happening. I think
he didn't look great in the first half.
That's fine, but he's playing well again. I think at some point, do you not just look at him and say, hey, you know what, the guy can play? I mean, listen, it's taken a while for them to get going. I will say this though, just moving away from Geno for a second, just looking at the overall game. If the Buccaneers lose this game, Brady might just stay in Germany. That might be the end of this. I mean, you cannot lose this game if you're Tampa Bay. You're up 21-9 with 8 minutes left. And you're going to blow this thing? You can't hold on. Now, look, obviously, you got a long way to go here. We'll see how things shake. What is this on? Is it on NFL Network?
Yes.
It is, right? Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So I'll have to throw this on here while we're talking so I can keep tabs. I got to admit, I woke up this morning and completely forgot the game was even on. Like, completely forgot about it. And I was like, oh yeah, right. That happens to me whenever we have these international games. I feel like I'm just completely out to lunch on them. All right. That all said, let's keep things rolling here. All right. So next game, Bears and Lions, NFC North matchup. Obviously, two teams that are not really in the race. You and I are going to go the same way here. I don't think we have to spend a ton of time on this game. The Bears 3-6. Justin Fields is playing much better. Detroit has not won a road game since the Clinton administration. The Bears are 3-point favorites. Totals 48.5. You and I share a pick here. Where are you going on this one?
Yeah, I'm just going to take the over here. I'm just going to root for the points. It seems weird because I don't remember this ever being the case, but the Bears have kind of turned into like an over team. Like their offense has been great and their defense has been just absolutely trash over each team's last 3 games, dead last in opponent yards per play. Teams are getting 6.8 yards per snap against the Bears defense. Obviously, the Lions defense isn't much better. These might be the 2 worst defenses in the NFL right now facing off. And I think both teams can run the ball successfully too, which especially Chicago has done. Because neither defense can stop the run either. So I think every stat that you look at points to a lot of points being scored in this one. So I'll just sit back and take the over, which is weird talking about the Bears and calling them an over team. Because historically, as long as I've bet on the NFL, it's like, okay, the Bears are playing, take the under. But now, it's especially after last week, it's just like, take the over. It's the opposite.
Yeah, it's been weird. You know, it's funny. I needed a quarterback for my fantasy league last week because the guy was on a bye. And I picked up Justin Fields. Like, I'll see how it plays out. Worked out okay. Yep. He's staying in the lineup. He's earned his spot on Team Verderame. So Team Verderame, by the way, 6-3 and rolling. All right. I'm with you, man. Like I said, I took the over. Detroit scores a lot of points. The one thing that doesn't make me a little nervous in this game, Goff in cold weather could be a problem for the over. Yes. I remember I covered a game the year that the Rams went to the Super Bowl with Goff, and they played on Sunday Night Football at Soldier Field, and it was brutal. I mean, even by Chicago, it was freezing cold. And I remember watching that game. He had a hand warmer on, and he would put his hands in the hand warmer until he was ready to take the snap, and then he would rip his hands out of the hand warmer. And the Bears realized that by about the second or third drive of the game, and would just tee off because every time he'd pull his hands out, you know, that snap was coming, and he wanted no part of that weather. So we'll see how it's. Now, granted, it was about 8 degrees that day. It was not 35. But we'll see. We both take the over. All right, let's go. Interconference game, a game that nobody wants to see, a game that is painful to the eyes in all senses. Pittsburgh, off a bye, 2-6 and terrible. At home against the Saints, off a short week and coming all the way across on the road. 3-6, also terrible. Saints are favored by a point. Total is a disgusting 39.5. Thoughts on Saints and Steelers?
Yeah, I'll take the Saints. I got this at a bad line, though. I got -2.5 here for the Saints. But, I mean, this Steelers team is definitely a bottom 5 team. I was going to say the worst team in the NFL, but I don't think they're the worst. But they are. If you look at net yards per play, they are dead last. Now, Mike Tomlin, like good coaches do, end up with better results than probably what the stats show that they deserve. But still, they're a terrible team. Tied with the Rams for dead last in the NFL in yards per play, just 4.7 yards per snap. And the Saints, I think they're being a little bit underrated. I think the Saints team actually statistically is pretty good. Yeah, statistically they are good. Top 10 in net yards per play. Now I know they got crushed on Monday Night Football against the Ravens, which it's kind of hard to make an argument for them after Monday Night Football, but statistically, the Saints have been good. Their biggest issue is that their turnover margin. They're dead last in the NFL in turnover margin. They're turning the ball over too much on offense, and they're not getting turnovers on defense. But in terms of just moving the ball and preventing the other team from doing so, their numbers are actually in the top half of the NFL. So I'll take the Saints.
I feel like the Saints stink.
No,
now that all said, well, I'm not bashing your pick. Like, I get it. But man, like, I feel like they're not good. By the way, the Bucs are going to win this game here. They're going to hold away. So give the Bucs credit for holding on. They're going to get to 5-5. Seattle's going to drop to 6-4, barring like a miracle at the Meadowlands type situation. I am taking the Steelers in this game plus a point. I'm taking the money line. I'm sorry. I'm taking Pittsburgh's money line. Why? I mean, why not? Plus a point,
Yes.
So here's my thought: the Steelers stink. An awful football team, a complete embarrassment and a tire fire. So why would you take them? Because they have 2 weeks of rest. The Saints are on a short week. The Steelers are at home. The Saints are all beat up. The Saints looked awful on Monday Night Football. Awful. I don't. Is Andy Dalton going to become good all of a sudden? I mean, everybody's like, he's had a good year. Every time I watch Andy Dalton, he's throwing balls that either are picked or should have been picked. Every week. TJ Watt's back. I think the Steelers are going to win. I don't think the Steelers are any good. I don't think the Saints are any good either. So I'm taking the home dog, slight dog. I am going to take the Steelers to win this game. I think it is a game that is offensive on every level and sets football back. But I got it like 20-17. I think Pittsburgh comes out on top.
Josh Allen has stepped on the field.
Okay. It's a step forward. I got to tell you, if they, and we're going to get to this game in a minute. If he plays in this game and he gets hurt, they're gonna need to hide for a long time. I don't know what is going. That is one of the more bizarre situations. Let's go to the AFC East. Let's go to the AFC East. Let's talk about Miami at home against the Browns. This line's actually moved a little toward Cleveland over the course of the week. Total's 49.5. It's a high total. The line, Miami 3.5, which I got to tell you, at home surprises me. It really does. I mean, they're at home. They're clearly the better team. I know the Browns off a bye. I get all that, but still. Jacoby Brissett's still the starter there for a few more weeks. Where do you fall on Miami and Cleveland total 49.5?
Well, I think the spread's so small because of their defense. Yeah, their offense can score a million points, but we saw it last week. It's hard to cover a spread when your defense is allowing the other team to score on basically all their possessions. So I've had a theory about this Dolphins team pretty much all season. It didn't work out for me in the first handful of games, but over the past few weeks it has. And that's just bet the over in Dolphins games because you look at the numbers and they're an over better stream. They're second in the NFL in yards per play. They're bottom 5 in opponent yards per play. The Browns defense, which was supposed to be good this year, has also been trash. You look at the Dolphins defense, they're ranked 27th and 29th in third down defense and red zone defense. That's not good. Like this is why teams score on almost all of their possessions against them. I will keep betting overs in Dolphins games until the totals get set in the 50s because I think that's where they should be. I think the total in this game should be like 51.5. So it's a strategy I've stuck with all year. I will keep riding it until I think the sports books adjust to how they should be setting the lines for these games. So I'll take over 48.5.
Totally reasonable. I'm taking Miami to cover this spread. I thought about it because I agree with you that Cleveland could keep this game close and make it interesting because Miami can't stop anyone. The flip side of that is I don't know if the Browns can get explosive plays. So I think it might be a game where they run and run and run and run and run. And it just becomes, it's 24-20 or something. I think Miami does win, though. I would take the over if I was going to go one way or the other on the total. Miami's good. Like when Tua plays, they win every week. So, excuse me. I do think they are good. They have played a schedule that you wonder, like, how good are they? But they have found ways. I mean, they played Baltimore, they played Buffalo, and they beat them both. Now, granted, two of the weirder wins you'll ever see, but they won them. So I will roll with Miami to cover here. I think they find a way to get the job done. And by the way, so let's get into the Bills now. We actually have some time. We're a little ahead on the rundown. Do you think they should be playing Allen in this game?
I'm not a team doctor. I don't really know the specifics of his elbow or exactly what the issue is. But what I will say, earlier in the week when we thought it was going to be Case Keenum going, I was going to bet on the Bills anyways. I think they're a good enough team that they can beat this Vikings team, despite the Vikings having a really good record. I think their defense is head and shoulders above the Vikings defense. So for that, no, but also at the same time, Bills need to make sure they're winning these games. If they want any shot at the number 1 seed in the AFC, they have to win these games. So maybe you just have to go with your guy. I mean, once again, I don't know what the details of the injury. So
sure.
Who knows?
I will tell you this. You know what? First of all, I think it's a good point. I've said that on every spot I've been on this week. I am not a doctor. I don't know.
Right.
I don't have the imaging. I've done my best to report on this and to get information on it. My information is essentially the same as anybody else's, which is, he's got this slight tear of the UCL. And the Bills have been so hush-hush otherwise about it that nobody really knows much more, at least to my knowledge. My thing on this would be that if he has any risk of hurting it worse, I don't know why you're playing him in this game. Now, as Mighty Sphinx just pointed out, and he's right, Adam Schefter tweeted out that the Bills officials told him, or that they were told, that Allen's injury wouldn't worsen if he played, which, sure, okay, maybe that's true. Again, I don't have a medical degree. I should bring my wife down here. She is a doctor. She's probably explaining a lot better. My thing with this, though, is not so much the injury. I put the injury aside for a second. It's the way the Bills have handled this all week. It's very bizarre.
Yes.
He doesn't practice Wednesday. He doesn't practice Thursday. He's limited on Friday. The media shows up. He goes running off the field. Today, he doesn't warm up with the guys. Now he's warming up with the guys. Like, if I'm the team, excuse the language, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? I mean, is he healthy? Is he not healthy? Now, I'm sure they've talked behind the closed doors about, the expectations or anything else. I don't doubt that. But it's weird. Like, if you're the Bills, like just the players on the team, you've got to be like, well, what are we good? Like, what is going on? And by the way, you mentioned the Bills defense. I'd actually push back on that this week to some extent. Rousseau's not playing. Hyde's not playing. Poyer's not playing. Tre'Davious White's not playing. Is Edmonds, is he active today? I know he was hurt all week. I don't know if he was healthy or not enough to play. I mean, they have had a million guys this week hurt. I know Milano's back. I'm just going to pull up their inactives real quick just to make sure. So Milano is active. Edmonds is active. Kyer Elam is out. I mean, it's just, they're missing a million guys in this game. And Edmonds has been hurt all week long. They're missing like half their defense and almost their entire starting defensive backfield. So, I don't know. Are they better? Like, I mean, Minnesota's defense isn't good, and we can get into it here. Look, the spread right now has been all over the place. Last time we updated this was 7. You said, I think, as we went on the show, it's dropped down to 4.5, correct?
That's back up to 6.5.
Now
I've never seen a spread move this much up and down throughout the week.
This is wild. The over-under is 46.5. You can see on the screen here. The weather, 36 degrees, some wind. I guess my overarching point here is I just think if you're the Bills, like, look, if he's healthy enough to play him, then play him. But if he's not healthy enough to play him, then sit him. And it's just, it feels like they're trying to split the baby a little bit all week long with this. It's very bizarre. And I will say this, if he ever were to unfortunately get hurt worse today with that elbow, they will never hear the end of this, especially after the way this was handled all week long. It's very bizarre, but you said you're on the side of the Bills regardless, correct?
Yeah, unfortunately, I got the worst possible line on this game. Like, it has moved up and down all week, and I got them at the opening line of -7.5, and it hasn't been that high since it opened. So I'm not in a good spot in terms of betting, but even if it was like I said, if Case Keenum was starting and the line was where it was early in the week, like 4.5, 3.5, I'd still kind of like it. But I know that a lot of the guys on the Buffalo defense is out, but I just can't trust Minnesota. Even Minnesota's offense, which was supposed to be like one of the more explosive offenses in the NFL this season, 17th in yards per play. Like, that doesn't really get me excited betting on them against the Super Bowl favorites here. That's lower than my Falcons. My Falcons are one step above them offensively in terms of just yards per play. So yeah, I just don't trust this Vikings defense. I haven't been too impressed from the Vikings offense. I'll take the Bills no matter what the number is and no matter who's playing a quarterback.
I don't know what in God's name to do with this game. This is like the ultimate shit show for betting. I'm going to take the Bills. I got them at 3.5. I have no idea what to do with this. No idea what to do. Like, I don't know how Allen's going to play, and I don't mean like how he's going to. I mean like how he's going to perform. I have no idea. I don't know if he's going to be him. I don't know if he's going to be skipping balls in left and right because it hurts his arm to throw the ball. I have no clue. Is he going to run? Like, is he going to take off running a bunch this week? If he doesn't, can they run the ball for a foot? I don't know. Defensively, I laid it out earlier. Elam's out. White's out. Poyer, I believe, is also out, correct? I believe he is also listed as out. I believe, I just want to double check and make sure I'm not giving faulty information because there's a lot to keep up with this week. Yeah, Poyer's out. Elam's out. White's out. Rousseau's out. Obviously, on top of that, Hyde's out for the season. It's half the damn team. Half the defenses. But I'm taking them because I don't know what in God's name to make of Minnesota. Minnesota is 7-1, riding a 6-game win streak, and they haven't looked impressive one time all year long. They barely beat the Lions, barely beat the Bears. The same is true against Washington. The same is true against Minnesota with against Miami with Skylar Thompson and Teddy Bridgewater. Arizona, they barely beat. I mean, they blew the Packers out week 1. Congratulations, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's a very weird team. I don't know what the hell to do with that. So, considering I don't know what to do with either one of these teams, I'm going to take Buffalo, and I'm going to say, I guess maybe Allen can find a way. I want to take the over, but I was like, well, if Allen doesn't play, then I don't want to touch the over because I don't know what that'll look like. I'm not happy with it. You at 7.5 for a brave man. I am less brave, but I'll take them at 3.5 because I don't know what the hell else to do with this game.
Yeah, I think the Vikings with their record are being a little bit overvalued here. I don't think they're nearly as good as the record. You mentioned the games that they're barely winning this season. Cardinals kind of muffed a punt against them when I was on the Cardinals money line, and they ended up winning because of that. But yeah, I don't trust Minnesota whatsoever. I wouldn't be surprised if they go on a little losing streak here.
Yeah, it's a team that I agree. Like they're not as good as their record, and they play Dallas next week. It is at home, but they do get Dallas, and Dallas will not be easy. All right, last 1:00 game, and then a quick hockey interlude, and then we go to the late games.
Ooh,
yeah, that's right. Tennessee home against Denver. And this is interesting. Tennessee getting Tannehill back this week. That they're missing a lot of guys on defense. Zach Cunningham put on IR this week. Christian Fulton is not playing. Also, Jeffrey Simmons not playing. Re-injured that ankle against Kansas City. Playing the Broncos. The Broncos are off a bye, 3-5. Now, look, you could give Hackett 2 weeks. You could give Hackett 2 years to get ready for this guy. I don't think it really matters. But they are off a bye. They are, of course, without Bradley Chubb, who they trade away. Justin Simmons is not playing in this game. So beat up on that side of the ball for Denver as well. The line is Tennessee only catching 2.5, only laying 2.5, I should say. Denver's catching 2.5. And the total is just an absolute throw up in your mouth, 39.5. Where are you falling on Denver, Tennessee?
Yeah, for the past year and a half, I've been calling Tennessee frauds. I've been hating on Tennessee. I've been betting against them basically every single week, and it continues to not work. Last week was the final straw against the Chiefs. I took Chiefs to cover the spread. I took Chiefs alternate spread minus 19.5. I took Chiefs alternate spread minus 29.5. So I took Derrick Henry under rushing yards. They all lost. So I'm saying this to say, if you can't beat them, join them. So I am now a Titans fan. I believe in this Titans team. They seem to be blessed by the football gods because stats seem to not matter. They rank in the bottom 5 in every single stat that you want to look at, but yet they continue to, if not win games, at least be in them until the very end. It makes no sense to me. It defies all logic. I don't know what else to say. So for the first time in what feels like a season and a half, I'll bet on the Titans. I'll take them to cover the spread. At least, I mean, Derrick Henry should be able to run against this Broncos defense because they're 27th in opponent yards per carry, I believe. I don't think they've done a great job stopping the run. I guess I'll take the Titans. I will say one good thing that the Titans do really, really well, and it has kind of helped them a lot in these games, and I think it's a sign of how good Mike Vrabel is as a coach. First and third down defense. They are stopping teams on third down. Teams are only converting 28.57% of third downs against them. And now they get to take on an offense and the Broncos, who are, if not last, at least bottom 2 in third down offense, converting only 29.2% of their third downs. So those third down plays are going to be something to watch in this one. But if you can't beat them, join them. So I'm a Titans guy now. I'll take him -2.
Wow. That's all it took. It was them losing a close game in Kansas City and a Titans guy now.
Yes.
All right. I am taking the under in this game, which I don't know if I copied this down wrong or if the line is jumping a field goal because Tannehill's active. I wrote down under 36.5. The line is 39.5. So I don't know whether or not I was just wrong on that, or if the line really did jump a field goal. I don't even give a shit. I'm taking the under in this game. I don't care. 36.5, 39.5, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't think it was at 36.
I think it was 39.5, and I copied it down wrong. So let's work off under 39.5. I have no reason in the world to think Denver can score a point. I know Simmons isn't playing. I know Cunningham's stuff. I don't care. Denver can't score against anybody ever. And if I gotta hear one more person handicap this game, so heck, it's 2 weeks to prepare. They could have 2 decades. He can't coach. I don't care. They're a terrible offensive team. They don't have Javonte Williams, obviously. They don't have an offense that scares you throwing the ball. I mean, what about him scares you offensively? Russell Wilson? The only person that he's scaring is anybody who roots for Denver. On the flip side, Tennessee, are they cracking 20? I got to be fair to Denver. Defensively, they've been really good this year. So I think this game is going to be like, I don't know, 19-10. I feel like that's where this is headed. Maybe it's Denver gets a little bit more, maybe 19-16. I don't know. But if I had to take a side, I would take the Titans. I'm taking the under. Let's keep it at that. Now, before we get into the 4 o'clock games, Luke is coming in hot, saying, "I'm still here, Matt. Let's dance. The Devils are overrated." This has become a running joke now between Luke and I, who is a resident Tampa Bay Lightning fan. Luke, say whatever you want. The Devils are a complete wagon at this point. 12-3, just absolutely refusing to lose, winning every game they play. The reason I wanted to bring the hockey up quick, and if you guys follow the show, at this point it's becoming almost a bit. This week, the Devils go on a Canadian road trip for the second time in 2 weeks, I think, because they went on their Western Canadian road trip earlier. They are playing Montreal Tuesday. They're playing Ottawa Saturday. They are playing the Toronto Maple Leafs on Thursday. So, Ian, we gotta talk, man. We gotta talk. Something fun here. You got your Leafs in that game at home?
No. I think Devils beat them. So they do play in Toronto this week. The following week,
they're in Jersey.
The Maple Leafs play in New Jersey. I'll be at that game, so I'll be there live to watch the Leafs in Jersey on the 23rd. But no, I won't be betting on the Leafs.
Okay.
No. Listen, I love the Leafs, and I'm biased about a lot of my teams. The Leafs have broken my heart too many times, year after year after year. I'm now sour on this team. They're having a tough season, even though they have their record's still decent.
I was gonna say, the record's pretty good.
8-5-3, but they can't play defense. Their top 2 goaltenders are hurt. Matthews hasn't played as well as he did last year. They can't find the back of the net. They're in the bottom 10 in shooting percentage. And this Devils team, I like calling teams frauds. This Devils team is not a fraud. Every single analytic statistic, advanced analytic you want to look at, they're at the top of the NHL. Expected goals for, Corsi percentage, expected goals against, high danger scoring chances. They're legitimately a good team.
I don't want to lose any of our football viewers, so we'll get back to the football. But yeah, the Devils are just, it's unbelievable. It's like they've replaced all these people with different. I have to. Most of the damn teams the same. But Jay Ward is asking, what does the sorry Lindy thing mean? Which I think all fans will appreciate. So the Devils, after 2 terrible years under Lindy Ruff, we're all ready for him to be fired. Come out of the gate, they lose 2 games immediately, and they look awful doing it. And the second game was at the Prudential Center where the Devils play. The Devils fans, in unison, chanted, "Fire Lindy." Loudly, unmistakably chanted "Fire Lindy." They, since that game, have won 12 of 13. And so last night at a sold-out game, they all chanted "Sorry, Lindy." So it's been good. Things are good. So I'll be the first to admit, as a Devils fan, not always the strongest fan base in the world. Things are good when you're selling out against Arizona in November, okay, and the place is just rocking. As a Devils fan, that's when things they're rolling right for you.
Yes.
All right. Let's get back to football. I had to bring up hockey because our 2 teams are going to be seeing each other the next couple of weeks. And we had a little bit of time in the budget here. Let's get to the 4 o'clock games. All right, this game is a fucking travesty. The Raiders and the Colts. The Colts We don't even have to get into it. We all know what the truth is about the Colts. Just a disgraceful situation there. I mean, my God. The Raiders, Waller on IR, Renfro on IR this week. The Raiders are 2-6. The Colts somehow have won 3 games. I don't know how. They come into this game. The thing that kills me, the Colts hired somebody who has 0 experience as a coach above the high school level. Team is in absolute disarray. And all that happened, Vegas didn't even touch the line.
No.
It was like, no, we're just going to stick with the Raiders at 4.5. I mean, it tells you all you need to know about the Raiders season. Total's 41.5. How do you fall on what should be an all-time instant classic of a disaster?
The line actually came down 1.5 towards the Colts because I got Raiders at -6. And it's down to 4.5. So the line has actually moved in favor of the Colts. I have no idea. I took the Raiders -6 because, like, how can you bet on the Colts? Like, for me to bet on a team, I don't just like bet based on gut feeling. I have to have numbers or a reason to back it up, and I just don't see what reason you back the Colts. You could talk about the Raiders' defense being one of the worst in the NFL, but the Colts' offense has been one of the worst in the end. Last week, was it 2 yards per play they gained against the Patriots last week?
It wasn't good.
And now they brought in Jeff Saturday in one of the weirdest coach hirings in NFL history. Like, I just don't know why or how you could bet on the Colts in this spot. So I guess I'll just take the Raiders. I don't really have too much else to say about it.
Yeah.
What reason would you have to bet on the Colts?
They think the Raiders is just a total tire fire. That's it. There's no other reason. I thought about this game for about 5 minutes. So I have no idea. Like, I would immediately, my inclination was the Raiders. But then I was like, it's the Raiders. If there's any team that will find just some comical way to lose this thing, it's the Raiders. But the Colts stink so bad, I can't possibly take the Colts here.
No, you can't do it.
They got a guy named Parks calling the plays who was like cutting up game film a week ago. I can't get there. So I took the under at 42.5.
Okay. I like that.
You know what? The Colts can't score a point. Like, the Colts can't score. The Raiders have no Renfro, no Waller. Their defense is halfway decent. And they're going to be the side less affected by everything going on. So I'm just going to take a game I think is awful. Awful. I think it's one of these games where it's like, I don't know, 20-16. I don't even know if it gets to that. Maybe it's 17-12. Like, it's just a brutal football game. So I'm rolling with the under. I can't take either one of these teams. I just can't. I think they're both terrible. They're both embarrassing. They're horribly coached. Give me just a real low-scoring game. I think that's where I've got to go on this one.
I agree. I don't know. Who'd you say is calling plays for the Colts?
Parks Frazier. Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
I was wondering if Jeff Saturday was going to call plays or not, but okay.
Now, next game here, 425, Rams, Cardinals, Rams at home in SoFi.
Yes.
Rams laying a field goal. Total's 38.5. Do we know who the hell's playing quarterback in this game?
I think it's just based on the line movement. I think it's Stafford because it came down to 1.5 and now it's back up to 3.
Is Murray playing? Like, what the hell is going on? Like, no one seems to know who's playing quarterback in this game. You know what? Who cares? Give me the Rams. I got them by 1.5. The Cardinals are a tire fire.
Yes.
Good job, by the way, extending Kingsbury and Murray. That's going great. Who could have seen that coming? The entire league. I remember I was in Indianapolis when they extended Kingsbury. And I can tell you unequivocally, without using names in this, I was in a bar with about, I don't know, 300 NFL people at the time. Probably had fun conversations, just quick chats, 40, 50 people. Every person I spoke to, man or woman, that kind of came up that they extended Kingsbury. And it was met with like laughter. It was just like, why in the world did you do that? And then the Murray thing happened, and there's a homework clause, and you're like, oh, this isn't going to end well. Give me the Rams at 1.5. They're both bad. The Rams are better. I have no reason to pick the Cardinals in this game.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, the Cardinals. I mean, both these teams stink this year, but the Cardinals are worse, I think. 23rd and third down offense, 28th and third down defense. So their third down metrics are terrible. I don't know. These teams stink. I'm taking the Rams.
Oh,
who is playing quarterback though? I've tried to look it up.
Neither one of them apparently. So it's going to be backup Palooza in LA because according to Ian Rappaport, it's 6 hours ago. I was asleep, so I don't feel too bad about missing this. Stafford with a concussion, Murray with a hamstring, unlikely to go. Per Ian Rappaport.
Who's the Cardinals backup?
Does it even matter? I don't know. Trace McSorley, I think.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Trace McSorley. I mean, good. Have fun watching that game.
It's Colt McCoy. Colt McCoy's their second string. And then Trace McSorley.
That's right. It is Colt McCoy. Rides again. My God, how old is he?
Yeah, I'll take the Rams. Yeah, I've seen enough.
Oh my God, Colt McCoy's 36 years old. Oh my God,
Shadow Colt McCoy.
Good for him, man. Hey, long career, right? I mean, give him credit. But oh God, all right.
Josh Allen is officially starting, apparently. By the way.
Yeah, I figured as much. And then John Wolford getting the start for the Rams. Woof. Okay. That game.
This late afternoon slate, not great.
Just those 2 games. All right. Last game of the late slate. Packers Cowboys. You thought early on this would be an amazing game. It is not. Dallas is very good. The Packers are not. Dallas on the road at Lambeau, going to be cold, 34 degrees. Dallas off a bye, favored by 3.5. Totals 44.5. Packers have lost 5 straight. I will get right down to it. I got it at a bad line. I don't care. I took Dallas -5. I have no reason to bet on the Packers. Zero. Not playing the way I thought they played offensively. They are hideous offensively. I'm pretty sure half the team right now, if they could have like to also go on a radio show and scream about their quarterback. It was not lost on me that Devondre Campbell was talking publicly about Jordan Love. He's like, he'd be better than some of the starters in the league. You know, I wonder if they'd like to find out how good he'd be if he started. The Packers have just been brutal. I have no reason to take them. If they win, give them all the credit in the world. I am going to ride with Dallas. I think that's clearly the right line, the right side of the line to be on.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm on. I got them at -4.5 though, thankfully. But yeah, I think the Packers are officially broken. I'm not going to be betting on the Packers unless they're underdogs of more than a touchdown, like they were against the Bills when I bet on them. I just can't bet on the Packers no matter what. They only gained 5.6 yards per play against the Lions last week. Now they have to take on the Cowboys defense. Cowboys defense leading the NFL in sack percentage, getting a sack on 11.2% of their opponent dropbacks. So they're going to eat this Packers offensive line up. And the Cowboys offense looked good in their last game too. I think Dak Prescott might be hitting his stride since returning from injury. So I see no reason to back the Packers here. I'll lay the points of the Cowboys.
Yeah. I think it's the right move. It's the only move. All right, let's get into the primetime game. Sunday night. Battle in California. The Niners, the Chargers. It's in Santa Clara. The Niners laying a big line. The line was 7, now 7.5. Total 45.5. I really struggled with this game for a variety of reasons. I'll get into it in a second. Where did you fall on this one?
49ers to cover the spread here. I got them at -7. The Chargers suck. They're not good. 25th in net yards per play. Their offense only gained 5 yards per play against the Falcons in their last game. And the Falcons defense, I mean, we saw them on Thursday night. They stink. This is a terrible matchup for the Chargers too, because we know the 49ers love to run the ball. Christian McCaffrey is there now. They're going to run the ball even more. Now they get to take on the worst run defense in the NFL in the Chargers. 5.7 opponent yards per carry. 0.2 yards per play worse than the next worst run defense. It's not good. Chargers are banged up. Herbert has nobody to throw to. 49ers match up well with him stylistically. They kind of got healthy over the bye week. I know that their corner there, defensive back, tore his Achilles, but he hadn't played all year yet anyways. Right. But they got a lot of guys back. I think 49ers win this one big.
I debated briefly because I'm like, the Chargers, they're that team that they'll somehow find a way to win tonight. It's some nonsense effort. They'll find some crap play on Garoppolo throws a pick six. I can't do it. I just can't get there with the Chargers. I took the Niners. I took them at 7 as well. The Niners might, I'm not even exaggerating. They might rush for 300 yards tonight. But they might honestly got to line up and run them over for 300 yards. This is a game where I can see Garoppolo throwing the ball 7 times. Because Shanahan's like, I don't care. Here's McCaffrey 40 times. Here it comes. And my big concern from a Chargers standpoint in this game is I just think the trenches are going to get killed. They're just going to get killed up front. In addition to that, as you point out, Williams and Allen are both inactive. Where is he going with the ball? With Eckler? I mean, that's great. They have Fred Warner and a host of other guys up front who can handle it. I don't think the Chargers are going to score the game. I think it's going to be one of these games where it's like 28-13. I'm with you. I'm riding with the Niners. It's just a game where you look at it and go, the Chargers just there's no there with that. And by the way, I picked your Falcons last week, and Eckler fumbles the ball. What in God's name is going on with your football team? He should have scored. Like, what the hell was that?
This is the life of being a Falcons fan. Every single week they find a new way to lose. And I thought I had seen all the different ways to lose, but now apparently a defensive player can be returning a fumble and just drop the ball. Nobody touched him. He just dropped it.
You guys, man.
I hate my team. I hate them.
You should have won that game.
Of course. We should have beat the Panthers on Thursday night too.
Just what a mess. God almighty. All right. Monday Night Football. Eagles, Commanders. Eagles trying to run their record to 9-0 at home. 10.5-point favorites. 43.5 is the total. 36 degrees is the weather. No wind. Look, I'll start because we're both on the same side of the thing here. I got Washington 10.5. That's how I'm rolling. I think Philly's really good. I don't think they're a fraud, but that's a lot of points in a divisional game. That's just a lot of points. And Washington has been better in recent weeks.
Yes.
Won 3 of their last 4. Last week they didn't win, but they were probably should have won, quite honestly. They blew the game late against Minnesota. 10.5. Like if they just gotta stay within 10, I'll take that side of the number. I'll take Washington to cover.
Yeah, same with me. The Eagles certainly good, certainly the better team, but a big hole's been exposed in this Eagles team. That's why they can't stop the run. 29th in opponent yards per carry, and the Commanders have started to lean on the run a little bit more in recent weeks. If they do it again, because that's how the Texans covered the spread against the Eagles on Thursday night last week, because they just ran the ball. You can run the ball against this Eagles team. So I think the Commanders should just do that. Their defense has been a lot better in recent weeks, as you mentioned. Third in opponent third down conversion rate, so they're great on third down defensively. Also 7th in red zone defense. So in 2 pretty key areas, third down and red zone, their defense has been amongst the best in the NFL. So this spread is insane. I will take the points with Washington, despite the Eagles kind of blowing them out early in the year. But the numbers don't back up laying double-digit points in this one. No,
absolutely. I'm with you. By the way, in case as we're about to play ourselves out here, in case you're curious, the Knicks and the Thunder are playing a game right now. The Knicks scored 48 points. 48 points in the first quarter against the Thunder. At home, the Knicks are up 5 points. Yep. That's the Knicks. Always a good time. Always fun. All right. God, do they suck. All righty. Listen, to everybody out there who watched, thank you so much. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Of course, I will be back on Tuesday with Sterling Holmes doing the weekly show as we get ready for Week 11. We'll look back at Week 10. You can, of course, catch Ian on his Twitter handle, which you see right there. You can also check him out at fanside.com/betsided for all of his work as well. And, of course, check out BetSide's YouTube channel as well. Lots of great content there. Daily bet slips, so many other things. A lot of you guys are familiar with Ben Heisler, all his work. So check everybody out there. I will be back here at Chiefs Fan for the halftime show on Arrowhead Addict and then for the post-game show as well. All right. Good luck to your teams today. It is Week 10. Week 10. My God, it's getting cold out.
Crazy.
We are getting there. Unbelievable. Had snow yesterday at the house. I went out and bought 3 inflatables for Christmas. My wife's going to kill me. It dumb, man. It's going out in the yard. She's lucky. It was between 3.5 foot inflatables and 1 9-foot Santa.
Oh,
I got the 3.5 because my father told me I'd be looking at imminent divorce, and he's probably right. So I went out. I got the reindeer. I got the Christmas tree. I got the Santa.
love it.
What the hell? Having a good time with it. I'll be the electric bill's gonna be through the roof, but fuck it. All right, listen, everybody, enjoy your Sunday. Good luck to you, and we'll talk to you again next week.